Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube astrological segment. I'm going to be talking about the transit Sun making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to natal Jupiter. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve the Sun, that can be about life, actions, what we want, our focus, our attention, what we could be concentrating on, what we want to shine in. When transit Sun makes a square opposition or even an inconjunct to Jupiter, basically adverse aspects, I would say, it can be about the life, the actions, want what you want, our focus, our attention, where we want to shine in. It may conflict with what in terms of expanding horizons. If say if this is in Taurus, you could be just simply trying to shine in stability and having that certain routine. And the thing is that could be strongly conflicting, of course, with trying to expand horizons. If transit Sun is in Capricorn, it could be so much focus and attention and wanting to shine in business, career related matters, your stature in life, that's another example where it may it be maybe averse to expanding horizons if you're putting all your focus and attention on one particular thing and not others. But the thing about this too is it might be also difficult to really find, as far as your life goes at this time, as far as it being exuberant or optimistic or expansive, enthusiastic, it might be difficult to find that energy at this time, or sometimes it might just manifest, sometimes it may be over optimism and not being realistic on things that you can actually attain through your actions. But another thing too, it's also, Jupiter is connected with hope, and the thing about this is what you're, at this time you might feel that life might be, might feel hopeless, even though this transit on the positive side does not last very long. I mean, it may last, you're looking at about 5 days, on that, roughly, because if you're looking at a 3 degree applying aspect and a 2 degree separation aspect, that's about 5 days, because the Sun, of course, many of you may know, traverses about 1 degree per day. But at the same time, this could also be a time where, as far as Jupiter, I mean, Jupiter's connected with the truth. It may be something where maybe you either don't want to know the truth, or what you're trying to, as far as your actions trying to get the truth, may be harder to attain and grasp more so than usual. Jupiter is also connected with the law, and it might be a situation where it can be that your focus, or what you want, as far as like say law enforcement, as an example, wanting somebody to help. It can be, if you're in a situation where you feel you need some kind of law enforcement to help you, whether it might be protection or not, those things that you want may be a little bit harder uh, to get at this time. I would say maybe especially with, with the opposition, given that Jupiter would be so at that distance opposing the Sun. But the thing about this is it could even be biological father or child may be having some issues with the law at this time. And another thing can be, another way this can manifest is that, considering Jupiter is about enlargement and expansion, it can be where you might be overdoing something on a physical level, whether it's, where say if it's like in Virgo or Sagittarius, could be working out vigorously. It might be a situation, I mean, since Jupiter's connected, um, you know, with basically, I mean, with jocularity, being jovial, where you might be, seeing something as being a lot more humorous than it maybe it should be, or it can be where it might be difficulty to see the positive, and to really actually be happy or joke about things at this point in time. Jupiter is also connected with extravagance, and the thing about this is just be careful at this time if you're spending more money than you need on yourself for what your basic wants may be. I mean, if the transit sun is in Cancer, it might be things, it might be simple, home related, family related matters, food, matters for subsistence and survival. Uh, Anatomically speaking, Jupiter is connected with the liver, the hip, pancreas, the sciatic nerve, and even obesity. So this could be a time, since the sun is connected with physical related issues. It does rule the physical body, and astrology has a connection with it. And I mean, it can be where there may be more difficulties if you, especially if you already have, some problems with what I had already mentioned. They may be difficult to deal with, or there may be a harder time in terms of focusing on them if there's some work-related distraction or whatever it might be. Those issues may conflict with maybe taking action on things, and might be making your life even a little bit harder to live, more so than usual. Another thing too is that Jupiter is associated with philosophy, so it might be where you might have some differences in philosophy with a child. It could be the biological father, or even an authority figure at this time, and the situation could be contentious for a little bit because of some disparity in those philosophies and beliefs. Now, Jupiter is also associated with higher education. So it might be a time where it might be more difficult for you to put your attention and concentration on, especially like say if you're already enrolled in college, you're taking a higher education course, there may be some situation that might be going on with the biological father, with a child, or maybe something physically that may be conflicting with what you're trying to do in terms of whether it could be higher education, taking college courses, whether it may be from home, or it might be actually going out to a school and learning. And also, Jupiter is connected with travel abroad and foreign travel, so it can be a situation too, in some cases, where there may be some basic wants, what you want to do, as far as it might be something that maybe you don't really, or you maybe don't want to do it even if you're getting encouragement from others, or it might be something that you may want, but it might not be as attainable as you'd like. For example, if you don't have the funds maybe to do this, maybe going to a foreign place might be out of reach at this time. It can be some situation. I mean, Jupiter is also connected with publishing, so it might be a little hard if you're trying to shine, so to speak, in matters of publishing, and trying to get things published. It might be a little bit harder at this time. It doesn't mean you won't get whatever you need published, but it could mean that as far as the attention that you may be seeking from this, if there's any kind of notoriety or attention that you may want, or recognition, it may be a little bit harder to actually attain, more so than usual. And Jupiter is also connected with religion, so it might be a time where it could be the biological father, it could be a child, it could be an authority figure. Maybe there's some disparity and some opinion regarding what your religion is at this time. Now, another way this could manifest and pan out, it could be, again, children, the biological father, issues with them that you might need to take care of, may conflict with, it could be long distance journeys. With some Pisces, it could be by sea, by going on boat. It can be, or it could be a situation where these people may disagree with your philosophy. Again, now say if this falls in, say if your natal Jupiter is in Aquarius, as an example, it might be an unorthodox belief or religion. It might be some astrological belief, or or even an unusual trip that you may take that they are not really, they're not copacetic. They don't feel, in agreement with it for whatever reasons. Hold on a moment, people. Now, sorry about that, but anyway, now let's say another thing too is that some cases this could be expressed in a physical related matter. A problem may cause difficulty, maybe in having enthusiasm or exuberance, or even college studies in some cases. Say, for example, if the transit sun is in Gemini, it might be some issues with the hands, the arms, carpal tunnel syndrome. It could be breathing, could be an issue with the lungs. Um, Scorpio, it might be a groin or prostate problem or something with the colon, bladder, even. Another thing, too, is that the situation with an authority figure may be more difficult due to matters. It could be with the law, matters pertaining to the truth. Say, for example, if this falls in Virgo, say if the transit sun is in Virgo, maybe it's an authority figure being overly frugal, maybe even downright parsimonious, not paying enough compensation. And in some cases, too, this could also manifest in maybe a challenge in terms of getting attention. It could be from in-laws or publishers or professors. Um, it can be also, too, it's important to be very prudent and careful in this transit because it can be expressed sometimes or pan out in an overestimation of what one may be able to attain or accomplish physically. Now, say if it's in Capricorn as an example, the sun transit sun is in Capricorn. It could be something with mountain climbing or construction or architecture. It could even be, doing something, in terms of, dentistry, or say if it's accounting, it could be trying to get, a certain amount of papers maybe filed by a certain amount of time. It could be some tax preparation and, tax papers or what have you. And you just feel, it's important to just not to overestimate and be realistic on what you're trying to attain, through your actions. And anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.